Okay, welcome back everyone. Back to the formal meeting of the Cabinet. We're going to take item D now. Were there any questions from members of the public that were submitted 2 clear working days prior to the meeting?
There were none.
Thank you very much. We'll now go on to part 2 of the agenda. We covered item 1 and 2. The next item is item 3, which is my report. Bear with. And that is on page 7. Okay, so these are the key performance indicators for Q3 as at the end of December 2023. I am really pleased that the majority of performance is on target or better than target, and the detail is set out in Appendix A. Appendix A, if you've got papers, begins on page 13. Now, we've got some commentary there where performance is off target and identified as red. So that would be around the speed of answering calls. The year-to-date figure is 134 seconds against a target of 120 seconds. But performance is improving and was 90 seconds for just the quarter itself, October to December. Processing changes to housing benefit and council tax support. We had 14.72 days against a target of 12. And this is due to the high volumes that we are receiving. Clearly, there is a cost of living crisis and people are struggling. So there are a lot of changes there, but that is being closely monitored. Around the planning decisions, subject to time extensions, we've got a 33% against a target of 30%, but that's improving quarter on quarter. And major planning applications validated within 10 days returned a data point of 85.71% against a target of 90%. Having said that, only one application exceeded the time, and that was outside the planning department's control. If you go on to look at the risks, these are the strategic risks for Q3 as at the end of December 2023. And the table at 3.2 in the report shows the current risk scores, any changes at Q3 and the direction of travel. The full details are set out in Appendix B. And there's one new risk relating to the net zero target. Risk workshops are being held to thoroughly review all strategic, operational, partnership and fraud risks for Q4 reporting as at the end of March 2024. And this will pick up all the suggestions for improvement which came through from the Audit and Governance Committee. So with that, I will take any questions, and thankfully Suzanne Rolfe is here too, and she will help with anything I'm not sure of. Callum.
Sorry about that.
What page are you on?
Sorry. Thank you, Madam Chair. Page 32. I think it's really encouraging the percentage of car parking income received against actual agreed budget. We're now to 73.06%. I think this is showing that the new car parking machines are obviously starting to have an impact, bearing in mind they were only installed at the partway through Q3. So hopefully this could help us going forward.
Yeah, I was really delighted with that, Callum. And as you say, the proof of the pudding is in the eating. I know we've taken a little bit of flack here and there, but I think compared to other councils, certainly, I'm highly delighted that Sandeep chose machines that had both card facilities and cash facilities, because I certainly heard on the doorstep during our campaign that our elderly residents really didn't want to lose the access to cash and paying for the parking. Yeah, of course you can, yeah.
I just want to add that I know from personal experience that the app is very well used as well. So that's the fact that we've got 3 different ways of paying. I know nobody wants to pay, but we are where we are, shall we say?
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I use the parking app and it's just heaven. It's just so easy. And even if you've got more than one vehicle, you can register your details and it's so easy to do. And it reminds you if you're going to go over, you know, you're 10 minutes away from your time. Do you want to top up or do you want to get back to your car and avoid a penalty? So yeah, I'm really pleased. Well done, Councillor Ghosh. John.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm probably very rare, really, that I find these sort of graphs and everything really intriguing and useful. So I've said it before already that Suzanne does a brilliant job that you can actually sort of read it and it's quite easy to understand. What I was going to mention is, well, psychologically, you look at the red ones, which we've talked about, and the commentaries. But I think it's important to look some as well at the green items, where we've been really good with fly tipping. We do get social media criticising us. But when you look at some of the scores here, they're quite amazing and very positive. The other thing I was going to mention as well, I have chatted to Suzanne on page 8 when it comes to the performance as per Appendix A. So I'd mentioned before, it's really intriguing and it sounds good that 32 are target measures, 23 are better on target, 3 are within tolerance and 5 are worse than the target, 1 not available. So I contacted Suzanne because I thought, what can we benchmark that against? That they sound really good. Suzanne came back and said we can look at towns that are similar to ours, but they don't have all the same targets set as per our programs and stuff. But I do, well, she mentioned as well, there are national data records, but the problem is they don't cover all the things that we're covering. So what I was going to ask really is, that for a layman who's reading this, I personally think they look really good. So on reflection, compared to our sister councils, do you consider the KPI performance as good as it looks there? Because that looks really good, doesn't it?
Sorry, what page are you on, John?
Page 8. Where it mentions paragraph 2, the performance appendix A. So it gives a summary and obviously there are figures there. So I mean, I suppose, and I'm thinking as well, the government brought out Michael Gove. He was going to bring up performance targets for individual councils, starting with different service areas, but I've not read anything. But in cooperation with our KPIs, would they look at that as a performance when they monitor councils' performances? So just some questions, please.
Okay. Well, I agree with you that I think that perhaps to offer a balanced view, perhaps when I deliver the next end of quarter report, I should focus as well on the greens as well as the reds and celebrate, because we want people to talk Boston up. We should, and we do it really well, but yeah, perhaps we should focus on the green and say how well things are going. I think what you might have been reading about is Michael Gove introducing targets through Offlog. The Office for Local Government. So that there is some paperwork out around that, and I'm going to ask Suzanne to offer some commentary on it, because I can't remember off the top of my head exactly what they're going to measure. I know that we're sending back data that we've already captured, so that we don't anticipate there's going to be a lot of extra work for officers. But I can't remember the name of the report. Is it Suzanne? She's there. Suzanne.
Thank you. Yes, the off-log measures are in our performance management framework for next year. So from 24-25, we had a discussion about adding them in. Some of them aren't set properly yet by the government, but as they become clearer, we'll make sure that you get them first so that you can see how we're measured against others before they're measured by the government. There's also, the way we look at it is, rather than compare with others, it's to look at where our reds are and to identify that we are improving. So there'll be some reds that we had in previous quarters, I think on the homelessness measures and others, and on the planning one that's getting really close now to green. And it's that movement over time that we're looking at to show that we identified a red, we've taken action about it, and it's improving. So that's how we try and benchmark within the council.
Thank you, Madam Chair and Suzanne. I know with the new planning regulations, there are some changes and it's very performance related and can affect our budget. So thank you for the information.
Okay, if we're all done there then, everybody done? I'd like to move the recommendation that we note the quarterly performance and risk monitoring information for Q3 of 2023-24. And I'd like a seconder. Councillor Broughton, and all those in favour. Clearly carried. Thank you very much. On to agenda item 2, which begins on page. Oh, that's not it. 43. Okay, and over to you, Councillor Ghosh. Take it away.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So I'm pleased to present the financial outturn report for the Q3. But before I start presenting my budget, I want to mention to the Cabinet that there is an amendment in Table 5A. The first 2 points from the capital budget are gone now. It's 58.
Page 58.
Page 58.
And what is it?
Yeah, page 58.
Mhm.
The multi-use games area and the resurfacing of and footpath improvements, it's gone now. It's because of reporting error. As members are aware, throughout the year,
Sorry, what is the, have you
it's
changed it or taken it out, or what is it?
taken out.
Oh, you've taken it out
Yes,
completely?
it's gone now. Yeah,
So that's 17,000 and the 28,000 is gone.
that's right. Yes,
Yeah, thank
from
you.
the capital budget.
Thank
yeah.
you. Carry on, Councillor.
As members are aware, throughout the year, quarterly monitoring reports are completed, forecasting the expected year-end outturn compared to the approved budget. This report provides information on the forecast full year financial performance as of December 31st, 23. The revenue outturn forecasts a surplus position of £162,000 at the year end. Just to gently remind you, Q2 has a deficit of £511,000. Please refer to Table 1 in Appendix A, which sets out the details. Some of the points I would like to bring to the Cabinet's attention are as follows. I'm pleased to report that corporate services are currently forecasting a £58,000 underspend against ICT hardware and software budgets as a result of improvement procurement processes and the buying power of the SELCP partnership. The largest change since Q2 is within the finance area of the budget, where there has been an improvement of £231,000. In relation to general fund assets, we have seen a reduction in income of £120,000 relating to bereavement and a further reduction in parking income to £274,000 at Q3. This can in part be explained by the free parking offered throughout the December. This is partially offset by additional rent income received, which is £56,000, £22,000 of salary and on-cost savings due to vacant posts. Planning and strategic infrastructure are forecasting a projected of £18,000 overspend. As might be expected, planning fee income is down by £203,000 due to wider economic pressures, including cost continuing to rise, a slowdown in the housing market and interest rate rises. This has been offset by some of the sharing that is taking place between the councils with S113 charges, resulting in a forecasted underspend of £100,000 against the original budget, plus underspends on agency support of £15,000, salary and on cost of £27,000, and a £50,000 underspend against the local plan work budget. Neighbourhoods are forecasting a projected £116,000 overspend at Q3. This is a movement of £49,000 from a Q2 position. There have been overspend improvements of £43,000 from those variances reported at Q2, but there are also additional overspends forecasted, including £28,000 in maintenance, £48,000 in materials and consumables, and £16,000 in income reductions across service areas. The projected outturn for investment income has decreased to £2.211 million from £2.330 million in Q2, a decrease of £119,000. This is mainly due to council having lower levels of cash balances following the repayment of the PWLB borrowing. To offset the reduction in investment income resulting from the repayment of 15.449 million of PWLB borrowing, the council will allocate to revenue the discount received over a 10-year period. This will result in a credit to revenue in 23-24 of £305,000. In addition, borrowing costs have been reduced by £182,000 as a result of the debt repayment. At Q3, a review of budget has taken place and a forecast of £130,000 has been provided in relation to court cost for council tax, which was unfortunately omitted at the budget setting stage. The 23-24 budget includes a saving efficiency target of £664,000. Saving achieved so far are £580,000. Please refer table 2 in Appendix A. And further work is planned to look at other opportunities as well. During the Q3 monitoring process, portfolio holders were asked to look for and release efficiency savings where they could do so. This process resulted in an additional £110,000 of efficiency savings being identified during Q3. Q2 reported savings achieved of £470,000. Let's jump to the capital. With regards to capital, table 5 gives details of all capital schemes at BBC. The revised capital budget as at Q3 was 8.542 million, composed of the 23-24 approved budget of 35.817 million, 22-23 slippage or accelerated spend of 28.233 million, and recent net changes to approved budget of 0.958 million. The town fund projects represent the largest area of spend, being 19.442 million and 54% of the total revised capital budget, followed by levelling up fund of 11.357 million, which represents 32% of the program. The overall expenditure forecast as at Q3 is showing the potential for slippage of 5.443 million. However, this position could change substantially as projects develop. With regards to treasury management, the highlights are as follows. The council's 23-24 budget for investment income is 1.462 million. At the end of December 23, investment income is estimated to be approximately 1.687 million. The current forecast outturn for 23-24 is estimated to be approximately 2.211 million, which is £749,000 above the budget. With regards to the property fund, they continue to perform as intended. With regards to revenue yields, capital values are still dropping, but have slowed substantially, and with interest level now maturing, it is hoped that some of that capital value starts to return from 24-25 onwards. So, Madam Chairman, I therefore propose that Cabinet approve the recommendations as set out in the report. Thank you.
Thank you. And do you have a seconder? Councillor Butler. Thank you very much, Sandeep. And any questions for this evening? Councillor Baxter, John.
It's more of a comment, really. I'd like to say thank you, because obviously this is a very difficult period, lots of financial pressures. On page 45, though, I saw, well, it was really good to hear Councillor Ghosh as well mention about efficiency savings. So it's good as well that 580% of potential savings against a target of 664,000. So it's good to read as well. This is work that's underway with further opportunities. The thing that always raises its head, of course, is the business to do the internal drainage boards, which cause lots of pressure. So I was pleased to read, and obviously we've heard about the 319,000, but I think it's fantastic then there's a special interest group being set up, lobbying Parliament and everything. So I think that proves that, well, during times of these pressures, most avenues are being looked at to improve the position. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you for that, John. It's a point I was going to raise actually around the IDBs. It was great that we got that first tranche of funding, the 319,000. Then later on in the year, as you know, government announced a second tranche of funding. But it was a 3 million pot, wasn't it, across more councils than the previous tranche. Have we had any updated information? Who wants, Christine?
Unfortunately, Chairman, we haven't heard anything yet, so we do await the outcome of that announcement. and we are chasing.
Yeah, well, is there anything you want me to do? Because I mean, that was announced in December, wasn't it, from memory? So you think it was this year? Yeah, January. Okay, it's certainly a long time ago. Is there anything I can do? Write to the minister?
We can certainly prepare a letter for you to follow up with the minister.
Okay. Yeah, Councillor Baxter.
That reminds me, I was going to mention as well, I know as a council and through Christine, we've been lobbying on other things such as the Restore Enhanced Housing Benefit, which is a central government issue which is costing us a lot of money. And there's something else as well we're going to levy on as well, going to lobby on. I forget, what was that?
Regarding renewables.
Yeah,
We're also making,
renewables. Yeah, so it's good as well that as a council we lobby central government because those things are affecting our budget a lot, aren't they? So, thank you.
Yeah, I shared the letter that we sent to the minister with all councillors. So everyone should have a copy of that. Okay, can't see any more hands. With that being said, the report's been proposed and seconded. All those in favour? Clearly carried. Thank you very much. Okay, so we're now going, the next item is the review of Public Spaces Protection Order on Hatter Lane, which starts on page 69 of your agenda pack. And this is also in my portfolio, so I'll present it. So our Public Spaces Protection Order, we commonly call it a PSPO, restricting public right-of-way on Hatter Lane in Boston Town Centre, was introduced by full council on the 27th of April 2015. Now, the council did that in response to issues of antisocial behaviour, including littering, fly tipping, urination, defecation, and issues relating to the consumption of alcohol. PSPOs can be introduced for a maximum period of 3 years unless extended in line with the requirements which are set out in section 60 of the Antisocial Behaviour, Crime and Policing Act of 2014. And the PSPO in Hatter Lane has been extended on 2 previous occasions. I'm pleased to say that since the introduction of the PSPO, there has been a complete eradication of the issues relating to urination and defecation in Hatter Lane. I'm so sorry if MD's having the tea at home. And there's a significant reduction in fly tipping and littering. The gating system is proving to be very effective in preventing recurrence of the issues. It's highly probable that should the PSPO be discharged and the gates removed, making it accessible to the public once again, the issues would reoccur. Given the nature of the location, it is likely to attract such behaviour as there is a lack of capable guardianship, particularly in the evenings and at night. The PSPO is therefore considered a proportionate and reasonable response to the effective management of antisocial behaviour in Hatter Lane. So this report asks Cabinet to support the recommendation to extend the PSPO for a further 3-year period to prevent the reoccurrence of the issues for which it was introduced. So I would propose that we approve that, and I'll look for a seconder. Councillor Ghosh is seconded. Are there any comments or questions? Councillor Broughton, Councillor Butler, then Councillor Baxter.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'd just like to say I can't see any reason whatsoever to change it due to the reduction in its effectiveness, and I fully support the recommendation, and I can't see any reason not to.
Thank you very much. Councillor Butler.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Sort of just to echo what Councillor Broughton said, really. I can remember when many years ago when I worked on the market and used to make deliveries down there with a sack barrow, I can remember how awful that lane was. And the difference compared to what it is now. It's not a well-used lane. Nobody needs to go down there unless they live in the properties. So I can't see any reason why the gate should be removed.
Okay, thank you very much for your support. Councillor Baxter.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Yeah, I agree as we've discussed with the recommendation. Fantastic. There's been 0 incidents and obviously the success of the PSPO. What I wondered was, are there any other parts of town or other places where this could be applied as well? Obviously, it's quite individual, isn't it, Hatter Lane? But I wondered, are there any other locations within town where this might work as well? I can't think of anywhere, but I thought we could use what's happened here to maybe halt some events problems in another part of town. So just thought I'd mention that. Thank you.
Yeah, it's a valid point, Councillor Baxter, and I think the actual the setting is really important here. You know, where the location of Hatter Lane is lends itself, and the way that it's set up, the way the properties are laid out, it lends itself to being gated. I am not aware at this stage of any other areas of antisocial behaviour that would lend themselves to being gated without causing too much problem for the residents who live there or the businesses who operate out of there. I'm pleased to take that back to the community safety team if you would like me to double check with, and if Emily knows of any up front, you can speak now, but no, she doesn't. But we'll check that out with the community safety manager and just make sure there's nothing else that would work. Yeah, thank you. Councillor Sharp, Sarah.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I completely echo everybody's statements, really. I think where Hatter Lane is, you've got Bridge Street one side and you've got Emery Lane another. So you're literally not stopping anybody from being able to get anywhere easily. From Councillor Baxter said, I wonder if our new street wardens, when they're on the beat, whether they might highlight anything that might need a PSPO. But obviously now we've got those, that's even better for the public.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. We'll be expecting them to bring back intelligence on issues just like that. Absolutely. Can I just check with the clerk? Do I need to read the recommendations out? No, you're happy with as they were in the report. Okay. So if everybody's happy with the comments, the report's been moved and seconded. All those in favour? That's clearly carried. Thank you very much, everyone. And item 6 is the Boston Market Update and Development Stroke Action Plan. It starts on page 75 of your agenda pack. Councillor Broughton, would you like to present and propose the recommendation, please?
Thank you, Madam Chair. This paper seeks to provide an overview of how Boston's regular Wednesday and Saturday markets have been performing and its proposed actions for the future development of the service. Prior to Cabinet today, this report went before Environment and Performance Scrutiny Committee on Tuesday the 13th of February. The committee approved the recommendations to take forward to today's Cabinet meeting. The Council's markets are required to conform to the requirements of charters granted in 1308 for weekly Wednesday and Saturday markets and 1545 through Boston's Charter of Incorporation. Boston Borough Council has responsibility for a market that takes place twice a week on a Wednesday and a Saturday. Markets are an important and historic part of Boston as a market town. The market service is delivered through a shared manager with South Holland, an officer who also provides support to town events, and a team of stall erectors who support the market officer with setup and takedown of the markets each week. The markets operate through a market policy which sets out their management and their responsibilities of both the council and the traders. The policy is attached as Appendix 1. The current pitch fees are similar to other markets in the area. From the 1st of April 2024, Boston regular traders will pay £22 per stall or £1.50 per foot of frontage, while casual traders pay £27 and £2.20 per foot frontage. All traders will also now pay a new £2 fee to park their vehicles. The council has an aim to move the market service towards a break-even position and find savings year on year, and the partnership alignment and annual delivery plan include 2 projects for the Boston Market Service to undertake during the 2023-24 financial year. 1, to review the markets policy and to undertake a review of the market service, and 2, to deliver savings whilst also growing the market service. The Boston Market Service is an important council asset which is managed within the Leisure and Cultural Division of the Communities Directorate. Appendix 2 of your report details a proposed action plan for the Boston Market, which has been developed to support economic, efficient and effective service delivery. The service is therefore also reviewing its operation, and a development and action plan has been drafted in order to achieve these outcomes and seeks to focus on delivering a modern traditional market that are cost efficient, delivering the best value for money, delivering vibrant, attractive markets that appeals to visitors and residents alike, attracting new young traders, increasing market activity, and working with the council's event team and local partners to add value to markets with entertainment and events. The action plan has been developed around 4 key objectives, each supporting a number of key strategic actions. These are to deliver a sustainable market service and become financially resilient, to deliver modern markets improving both infrastructure and delivery, the Boston Market Service becoming known for its specialist markets and events, such as the teenage market, and the market service is successfully promoted and well marketed. The plan also incorporates timescales to work to and outcomes in order to deliver the actions against these strategic objectives and measure their effectiveness. Monitoring of the actions will be reported on a monthly basis in portfolio holder briefings and quarterly to members through the council's performance monitoring processes. The current lead officers to ensure delivery against the plan are the markets manager, the interim cultural services manager, and the AD for leisure and culture. The Boston Market Action Plan has been developed as a live document to be continually updated and developed in order to support accountability within the service to strategically and operationally deliver what is required from this important borough asset. For example, one of the actions was to move the Bargate Green Market to the main marketplace by April 2024. This was actually done a month earlier and moved on Wednesday, the 6th of March. We've also got 2 comments from the traders who are affected. Since the move, former Bargate Green trader Chris Thomas, who sells fruit and veg, has reported no detrimental impact on his takings since he has traded on Fish Hill in the marketplace. And also similarly, Orion, our permanent fresh fish trader, has reported a slight improvement in trade since Chris and the auctioneers moved in next to him 4 Wednesdays ago. This action plan has been developed to facilitate residents and visitors in deriving as much benefit as possible from the Boston markets while achieving its strategic aims of becoming sustainable. Therefore, I propose a recommendation that Cabinet considers the report and its appendices and agrees to the action plan.
Thank you. And do we have a seconder? Councillor Sharp. Thank you. And any questions, commentary for Dale? Yes, Callum, Councillor Butler.
Thank you, Madam Chair. On page 117, point 1.2, I think it's also worth noting here that market trading is an ageing profession. It's because the point is about facing many challenges over the years, including the rise of online and out-of-town shopping, competing from unregulated car boot sales, as well as recent COVID pandemic. Another issue that's worth noting is the fact that it's an ageing profession. There's not much new blood coming into market trading now, so it makes it obviously much harder to attract new stalls and new businesses to the industry, and obviously to Boston as a knock-on effect of that. I think Boston, although it's obviously seen a decline in the number of stall holders over the years, I still think it's one of the better markets in the county. In fact, probably one of the better ones in the country. The fact that we've got one of the largest marketplaces in the country makes it look a lot emptier than it actually is. We still have a very good mix of stalls and traders. And I think that should be recognised.
Yeah, thank you for that, Councillor Butler. I'm going to bring in Councillor Broughton because you make a valid point about the age demographic of our existing traders, which is why it's so important that Councillor Broughton's brought his fresh blood, fresh vision, fresh ideas, especially around the teenage market. So would you just comment on that, please?
Yeah, obviously we know the ageing population of Boston market because several of them have stood for 30 odd years. But that's the idea with the teenage market, which has gone from originally 2 or 3 stores. We're now up to, last month was sold out. We've only got 1 vacancy this Saturday again. And we're actually getting a waiting list every time we're doing the teenage markets. And the positive news coming from that is 2 of the actual teenage markets who started off are now actually on the full markets as well. So there is a trend of starting off, testing the waters in a little business. And then because they're seeing that the town is getting busier, the market itself is getting busy. We're getting new traders, and I know the markets managers going out, getting putting out what we need, a fresh batch of new traders, different products. We don't want the same product selling, and we are working hard. But the youth and the teenage markets is the future of the markets, because if we rely on the people who's on the markets, not just in Boston but all over the country, as you've said, it's an aging population. Eventually, when they retire, there's going to be nothing. So this teenage market is an absolute godsend. The people's really getting onto it. It's bringing people into the town as well. And also, it's not just the teenage markets. We've got other initiatives as well. We've got craft markets coming up. The farmers market's starting to build up and getting a really good reputation. So the Boston market is going from strength to strength and will continue.
Thank you. So Councillor Baxter. Oh.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Councillor Broughton and all the officers involved in this. As I read this, I was very proud to read on page 76. I think it sums it up where the Boston Market Service is an important council asset. I was really pleased to see an old picture as well of when the auctions weren't on the green, similar to the new proposal, they came into the marketplace. I was really pleased as well. To be quite honest, I was a bit scared what our local residents would think, but it was all positive that people thought that was a good idea. As we look on social media, some people often say how expensive Boston Market is, and they probably sort of point that as a negative. But I think it's important, look, when you look at regular trader with stall, Bourne is £21.60. We are £22. Grantham is £24.40. Stamford is £28.10. So that's not quite true what people say, that it's expensive, because in Lincolnshire, that seems pretty reasonable to me. I was also going to mention as well something that I thought was really good, recently publicised on page 86. It mentions about charity stalls. So I'm involved in quite a few organisations, put that forward, and they really appreciated that. Obviously, from a community point of view, that will bring people who man the stalls into the marketplace as well. So I think that's a really good idea. The only thing I was going to ask, obviously the action plan lists certain things. I think at one meeting we talked about asking stall holders from Leicester, Nottingham, Derby, who were from outside Boston. So I'm not sure, did we look at that, Councillor Broughton, please?
Thank you, Councillor Baxter. Yeah, the actual chap who's moved from possibly from the green onto the Fish Hill, Chris, he actually runs one in Derby himself on a Saturday, and he has got people who potentially are interested, obviously when the better weather comes. So, but we have got quite a few traders anyway come from them areas already. So it'd be nice to get more like local firms and local traders to actually come onto the market, because we have got people coming from Melton Mowbray, Loughborough, Leicester. So we have got quite a wide area coming already. So if anybody from Boston area, more than happy to accommodate them on Boston Market if they meet the regulations, which are not difficult. The stalls are there for them to come, but we are seeing more and more people come in, and it is getting wider spread. We are also looking, going into the future as well, to hopefully get tourist buses hopefully coming in the future again as well. We are starting to talk about that. They used to come in several years ago now, potentially 5 buses. If you've got 50 people, that's 250 people coming into the marketplace. That's something we are looking at going forward this year as well.
I must admit, the PR and advertising has been really good. On a Saturday, when you see pictures of lots of people at the market, I think it makes people think, oh, we'll nip down, because it creates an atmosphere. We might go back to the old traditions where everybody went uptown on a Wednesday and a Saturday and met all their friends. So maybe from the rural areas. So it looks as if it's going in the right direction. So that's brilliant. Thank you.
Just to add as well, Councillor Baxter, we are in planning stages on actually revamping all the market as well and bringing it up to like the 21st century, and watch this space, because it is going to look absolutely amazing, the plans that we've got, and they will be coming through this year as well. So it's something really exciting about Boston Market, and I'm sure it'll attract a lot of new people as well.
Thank you. Councillor Ghosh, Sandeep.
Thank you, Councillor Broughton. I really like this report, and I can clearly see the plans. It's clearly visible. I just have a question. You mentioned about some of them are waiting. There's a waiting list. Are we planning to increase the number of stalls in near future?
Regarding the teenage market, that's the waiting list for the teenage market. There, we only have limited stalls for them anyway, because we don't charge the teenage markets for that. So obviously we're not going to put them in front of people who want to obviously pay for stalls. So we limit it to a certain number, and we're reaching that number month after month after month now. So if the uptake is that great, we can then potentially look at, rather than just once a month, maybe even twice a month on different days as well, especially like through summer holidays and things like that, where the children's off school. And I know the schools are really encouraging the students as well, because it's good for business knowledge and everything else. And it just gives them a little dip the toes into the water to see if this could be for them. And obviously, if they're earning a bit of money, it saves doing a paper round. They're actually getting knowledge of the business, and therefore, hopefully, like the two who's already done that, goes onto the main market.
Thank you, Councillor Broughton, because obviously if it's a waiting list, it clearly shows how much interest even, the teenagers are taking on this. So yeah, thank you.
And Councillor Sharp, Sarah.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. Mine's just more of a comment, really. I mean, I know that you've put your heart and soul into this, Councillor Broughton, and it really shows. And so thank you, really, for you and your officers for really making this important part of Boston flourish. So yeah, I just think the comms has been absolutely amazing around the market. It makes me think, oh yeah, it's brilliant, that teenage market. The teenage market just makes my heart sing, that we're really trying to find our next Richard Branson among our young people and giving them those opportunities. So yeah, thank you for that too.
Thanks for that, Councillor Sharp. That's really pleased to hear. Like I say, yeah, we are really passionate, but we have got a long way to go. There is improvements coming. And like I say, we are encouraging like the farmers markets, craft stalls, and also we are potentially looking at a food market. So every week we're looking at getting something different to bring different people in. And I think that's what's going to attract the tourists in the summer from like Skegness, Mablethorpe, them sort of areas, to actually come to Boston like they used to do, spend some time in the market, spend some time in the shops, which are something else that we're working on to get new businesses into the town, bring the footfall in, keep the traders who's here happy, and hopefully have a flourishing town. It's not going to open overnight, we know that, but we are going in the right way.
Yeah, thank you. I'll just close by saying I support the positive comments that Cabinet's made this evening. I think I'm privy to some of the ideas that you've got going forward, and wherever there's change involved, you'll meet resistance. So I would encourage you really to continue the really good dialogue you've got with the traders. I think that traders forum is really important, and that as far as possible, you bring the traders with you and that they see the vision and buy into the vision. Because that will make the change a lot easier. And for the teenage market, I echo Sarah's comments. I just love young people, but I've been really impressed with how much the parents have bought into it. Almost every young person stall has an adult with them, unless there's two young people together giving each other moral support. So it's been lovely to see the parents come out and support their kids, and they should be really proud of what they've achieved. But all in all, a great report. Thank you, Councillor Broughton. So it's been moved and seconded. All those in favour? Clearly carried. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes this evening's business. So I will now formally close the meeting. Thank you very much for your attendance.